really interesting statistic. It's estimated that 20% of American women will never negotiate for more money in their careers because they feel too intimidated to do it. Alexia Vernon, the author of Awaken, Your Careerpreneur, is here to show us how to successfully negotiate for the salary you deserve, whether you're looking for a new job or simply asking for a raise. That's really interesting. Over the course of their entire lives, 1 out of 5 of us just never say a word.
It's so disappointing.
Yeah.
I know we sell ourselves short.
Absolutely. Well, you have some tips here, and they're very interesting. We have 5 tips of things we should do and 1 that we should not. So number 1 is frame asking for the money you're worth as a creative and confidence-building activity. What do you mean by that?
Absolutely. So I think success really begins with mindset, and it has a huge indicator in terms of where we're going to get in a negotiation. So I always recommend that people spend a lot of time really shifting the way they see a negotiation from being an obstacle, something that is inherently anxiety-producing that we just have to get through, to an opportunity to be able to self-advocate and to really be able to practice our communication skills.
Right. And you wonder sometimes why we're so afraid. They're not going to shoot you. They might say no, but
absolutely
it's
not.
not
And most of the time when we ask, we're going to get something. And we know if we don't ask, we're not going to get anything.
And at least if you ask, somebody knows you feel you're worth something.
Absolutely.
Number 2, identify a mutually beneficial outcome for both parties.
Yes. So a salary negotiation is called a salary negotiation for a reason. It's meant so that both people leave. They might not both get what they want, but we'll both get what we need. And in order to do so, it's really clear that before we go in, we know that whatever number is thrown out first, ultimately the negotiation is going to land 5 to 10% by that number. So if we think that we're going to throw out the higher number, we want to make sure that we do that. And if we think that an employer is going to do that, perhaps we have a tendency to set a glass ceiling for our success. Then we want to make sure that the employer is going to do it. And there's great sites out there like salary.com or glassdoor.com so that we can know what is the salary for what our position is in terms of the type of company we're working for and in the community where we're working.
So that first number is really important.
Really vital.
You don't want to undersell yourself. Number 3, rehearse for your negotiation out loud.
Yes. So a salary negotiation is a form of public speaking, and for most Americans, public speaking is our #1 fear ahead of terrorism and bed bugs. So, you know, if we know that, then we absolutely want to make sure that we're setting ourselves up to be successful. I've taught public speaking for a while, and one of the statistics that you'll find in any communication book is that for every minute you speak, you want to rehearse for 1 to 2 hours. And if you're doing that before you go into negotiation, you're going to get really comfortable being able to own what you're worth and ask. You're also going to be able to work on your points in terms of why you're worth that money. And I think a lot of people also forget about the nonverbals. So you want to practice making eye contact like we're doing right now. You also want to make sure you are comfortable negotiating in what you're planning to wear and that you're smiling. If it's a mutually beneficial negotiation, both people are going to have fun. So you want to set that tone when you walk into the room.
And sometimes it's hard to find those right words, and so giving yourself a little chance to think about it, to visualize it, and then
get it in your bones so it's a part of your DNA.
Makes a lot of sense. Number 5, get any offer in writing.
Yes, this is so important, both for you as well as your prospective employer. So you want to get down in writing whatever it is you've agreed upon, of course, and if you've negotiated some other benefits, you want that down there. You also want your job title down there if this is a new position. A lot of times people go in the first day and suddenly they realize to their horror that what they thought they were going to be doing is not exactly it. Also, chief responsibilities and accountabilities. Get everybody on the same page before you change your Facebook profile or you go out and buy that celebratory pair of jeans or give notice at your current job.
Oh, I skipped over one. I apologize. Offer an employer multiple ways to give you what you want. Now, I like this because in this economy, it really can't be a yes or no, your way or my way kind of thing. It's got to be something that, as you mentioned, both parties can benefit from. So how do you do that? How do you offer multiple ways to give you what you want?
Sure. So oftentimes we think that money is the thing that's going to make us happy, and newsflash, it's not always the case. That sometimes it's the little niceties like flex time, being able to go into work early so that we can leave early and spend times with our family. Or maybe it's that our company has a tuition remission program, so we want to ask if it's a possibility to have some compensation after we've been at our job for a year. Being able to have those things in our pocket to pull out helps an employer who may not be able to budge on salary, but also it might be those little things that are going to make us happier and want to stay in the job longer.
Could be. And I would guess most employers would like to be able to give something, even if they can't give salary. Now, you say don't do one thing. Don't make the negotiation about economic need.
Yes.
That's interesting. Why not?
Unfortunately, our employers are not caring necessarily about whether we can make our mortgage or our student loan payment at the end of the month. What they do care about, though, is that we're uniquely poised to be able to deliver the specific solutions they need us to deliver in order for them to get to the next level of success. So if we're able to create a narrative about ourselves that's really focused on our strengths, what we've achieved in our positions previously, and let that be what we're using in terms of selling ourselves, that's going to land much better for an employer.
Well, that makes sense, because everybody could go in and say they need more money, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the employer has any obligation or that you've earned it. So going in to say this is a win-win for both of us is really important. And what would your advice be to women? Just one, I guess, would be just do it, go in and ask. Since we're so reluctant to kind of go and toot our own horns, what should we think about to try to make that case within ourselves to go forward?
Sure. I had the privilege of growing up here and going to the Forestridge School, the Sacred Heart for Girls. And one of the things that my school is really focused on is helping girls have their voices, not just because it's important for us to have our voices, but so that we can go out into the world and make a positive impact. And I think if we start looking at it as it's not just about us, but if we want women to continue to advance, we have to create a platform for them to be able to do so. It's going to help us see it's not just about us, it's about leaving a legacy where women feel comfortable negotiating and have higher salaries.
That's a very good idea, and I think that'll help us not feel so self-conscious that we're being selfish, or the things that women tend to tell themselves when they try to go after what they want and deserve.
Just breathe. It really helps to just take some time before you go in and to breathe, to calm yourself down and get the blood moving.
Those are great tips. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Alexia. For more information on Alexia's book, Awaken Your Careerpreneur, and her tips for negotiating your salary, just head to our website. We're back with more New Day in a moment.